Get clear about when you're going to be completely off during your week. I want you to schedule at least 24 hours off in a row. Yes, I said 24 hours off in a row. And I know Jennifer's like, what are you talking about?
Welcome to our Happy Rainmakers series where point one can make a difference. Today I'm joined by Sarah Reiff-Hekking, who is the founder and CEO of True Focus Coaching. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sarah.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So I have Sarah here because she's kind of an expert in figuring out how to fit everything in. And you were telling me before about sort of figuring out how to create a flexible template. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. And this can be crucial in terms of helping lawyers get the right things into their workday and also have the whole life that they want. So what you want to do is first get very clear about when you're working and when you're not working. And I know I just broke somebody's brain by saying that because we're always kind of sort of working and always kind of sort of not working. But as much as possible, I want you to pick which zone of your life you're in, what activity you're in, and be all in there. Once you actually literally practice when are you working, when are you not working, like get really clear about that. Put some limits in your day, when you're going to turn off at the end of the day, when you're going to turn on at the beginning of the day. Then what you want to do is ask yourself, what are the must-do work activities? What are the must-do fun activities? Yes, I said fun. And what are the must-do home activities? And you want to create a flexible plan for yourself where you know the usual time of day or week that's going to work for you to get those most important activities in. It's never going to be perfect. That's why it's called a flexible template. And you want to make sure you keep that flexibility in there. But there's a couple of other things that can be really helpful here. One is get clear about when you're going to be completely off during your week. All right. So I want you to schedule at least 24 hours off in a row. Yes, I said 24 hours off in a row. And I know Jennifer's like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And here's the thing. They'll only happen if you start to block them out for yourself and say, I'm going to set a limit and I'm not going to do work during this time. And what I can tell you is that when you get a longer break away from work, you're going to be more productive during your work hours. So if you're skeptical listening to this, you're still in the right place. Start to build it a bit at a time. So maybe start with a full morning, maybe start and then move into the afternoon or an afternoon into an evening, and then just check it out once in a while. See what happens when you give yourself that full clear break from work and then you restart on Monday. Because what I can tell you is you're going to get more done in less time during your regular work week because you will be properly fueled to do so.
So do you recommend looking at your calendar a certain amount of time in advance to come up with this flexible plan?
Yeah, so first thing you want to do is just really take a week calendar that's just blank and just start to pencil it in as though you're building from scratch. What do you know is going to work best for your brain, your body, your life, and your business in terms of how you need to sequence things, in terms of the sort of work you need to do, and when the best times are for you to have downtime and off time. So you want to do that. And then what you're going to do is start to use that as sort of a rubric as you're planning out over time. And so, for instance, you might say Tuesday morning is a really good time for me to do some deep dive time. Well, I'm going to go ahead and block that out of my calendar and put deep dive on it so that I know and my team knows that's when I'm going to be doing all of the work that the other meetings are creating. Right? You do it purposefully and mindfully week by week. And you start to build it out over time and you'll figure out what is the right sort of amount of flexible scaffolding, I think about it, in your calendar to allow you to know when you're going to get the most important stuff done, both on the personal side and the professional side.
We always like to leave our viewers with something that they can start with right away. So if this is the first time someone's thought about this topic in quite this way, what can they do first? What's something they can do right now for, we always talk about 6 minutes. If they just have a few minutes, what can they get started on now?
You can take a look at your calendar over the next week and get really clear about when you want to start working and then when you want to target stop working, right? When do you want your workday to end? And just set a little reminder for yourself about 30 minutes ahead of that to say, start to wind down now. So that, because in that moment, you know more about anything you're going to move forward the next day, right? So leave yourself some breadcrumbs and then practice leaving the office, practice shutting down and see how that goes for you.
Well, that's great advice. And I think it will help a lot of people do better quality work and feel like they have some time off. So thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.